In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to create a simple frame animation using Photoshop. This is the animation that we're going to be creating today. Very simple. I'm using RACC because this is for a class I'm teaching at Reading Area Community College, and I thought that would be a good idea to use their lettering. So the first step is let's create a new project, and this project I'm going to have dimensions of 1000 pixels by 800. I'll create that. There's our blank layer. So the first thing I want to do is put a gradient overlay on our background layer. So to do that, I'm just going to switch off the lock, go into the layer styles panel, and grab a gradient overlay. I'm just going to take this default here, which is white to black. Okay, next what we're going to do is I'm going to take the horizontal type tool and click on the project and type in RACC. Looks like I missed the capital here, so let's make that a capital R. Okay, so RACC, and let's center it for now. Okay, so there's our letter, and just to make it a little more visually appealing, I'm just going to put a few layer styles on this. So let's put a drop shadow, and we can put a little bit of a bevel and emboss on that to bring it out, and maybe just a pattern. So this is our basic layer for the lettering. So once you're done with that, you want to take 3 additional copies of this layer. So I'm just going to hit Control J 3 times while I am on the layer in the layers panel. So and then I'm just going to shut them all off, okay, by hitting the eyeball. So we're going to take the first of the RACC, go back into our type tool, and just take away the 3 letters ACC. Go to the second layer and take away 2 letters. The third layer, just take away the 1 letter. And what you should have now, and this is not going to be animated, of course, we have our 4 layers, and if I turn the layers on one at a time, it looks like I'm animating the layers. Okay, so what we want to do right now is we want to turn on the timeline, and the timeline can be found in Window. So go up to your toolbar, hit Window, and then Timeline, and then at the bottom you'll see that this other panel appears. Now this panel has 2 options. You can create a video timeline, or you can create a frame animation. We are going to create a frame animation. So what you should do is go down here. Once you see these choices, click on frame animation, and immediately you'll see that 1 frame is automatically created, and that frame is basically whatever is shown on your screen at that particular moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to create 3 additional frames, and there's an icon here called duplicate the frame, and I'm just going to click on that 2 additional times. So each one of these frames will contain the letters as they are in order placed on the screen. So the first frame is just going to have an R in it. The second frame is going to have RA, the third frame RAC, and then the fourth frame RACC. So how do we do that? So basically, while you have that first frame selected, just turn off the other frames. And if you notice, all 4 of the frames have changed to just show an R. But we're just going to leave it in the first frame and go to the second frame. And in the second frame, we're just going to turn on the RA. So now we have R, RA. Very simple. Then third, we go to the third frame and just turn on the RAC. And similarly on the fourth frame, we'll just turn on the final one. So we have, if you look down here in the timeline, you have an R, then RA, RAC, and RACC, and that's what we're trying to animate. So just like you'd see on like a CD player, we have our start keys. We can go backwards, forward, pause, go to the end. So I'm just going to hit the play button here, and we're going to see what our animation looks like. So I'll hit it again. Now that doesn't look too animated. So what we have to do is put some time in between each of the frames. Right now we're saying show no time, 0 seconds. As soon as the next frame is available, put it on the screen. So what we want to do is we want to delay that, and you can go to each frame and give it a custom time. In this case, I'm just going to select 1 second. So hit the little drop down in each one of these layers and select the timing. You can also click and control click and highlight many layers at the same time, and then you only have to change it once. So right now we have each one of these set at 1 second intervals. So now I'm going to hit the play button again, and let's see if we can see the difference. So there you go. So basically, and I'll do it again, basically there's a second delay in between each one of these layers. Okay? So that's really the basis of a frame animation, but we could actually add a few other little tricks to this one. So why don't we do that? So what we're first going to do is I'm going to add another layer down here, another frame I should say, and I'm going to move it to the beginning, and this I want to actually have blank. So let's see what happens when we do this. So it starts out blank, and then all of a sudden an R appears, and then the rest of the letters appear. Okay, so not too impressive, but I'm going to change this option down here of how many times we're actually going to see the animation. Now you could do it once, 3 times, forever, and then you could do it on a custom interval. So I'm going to select 3 and just show you the difference here. So hit 3. I'm going to hit play, and here we go. So we started out with a blank, and now you can see that the blank in the first frame is actually giving it a better context. Okay, so there's our third one, and then it should stop. What we can do next is we can add other layers to make the animation come backwards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take layer number 4, I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to put it, actually let's layer number 4 is RAC, so there's the RAC, and I'm going to make another layer that's just going to have RA. So let's do that. So, and then we're going to make another layer that's just going to have the R. Okay. So let's look at the frames and let's see what's going to happen. So we're going to start out blank. We're going to add an R, then an RA, RAC, the full RACC, and then we're going to go the opposite direction, RAC, RA, and R. And they're all at 1 second. So let's rewind this and hit the play button, and let's see what happens. So there's your R, A, C, C. Now it should come backwards, R, A, back to the blank screen, and then forward again, and then back again, and then one last time, because we have it set to do it 3 times. It's going to come back, and then the animation will end. Okay, so that's the basic animation. There's a couple of other little tricks you can do. I'll just show you one more. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the layer in the layers panel that has the RACC in it, and I'm going to duplicate that layer, and then I'm going to just go into my transform tool, and I'm going to hit scale, and I'm just going to scale it up and down just to make it a little larger, and accept that. Then I'm going to create another frame,